Well, the problems along the southern border continue this morning. Although migrant families are no longer separated when they attempt to come to the United States illegally, the problem now is the unification process, bringing those families back together. This week, a federal judge has ruled that the thousands of migrant children separated from their families need to be reunited with them within 30 days. 30 days. That's how long the U.S. government has to reunite migrant children and their parents separated at the border. The hard deadline set this week by a U.S. district judge in California. Under that order, children under 5 years old must be reunited with their parents within 14 days. Right now, the Health and Human Services Department is caring for about 12,000 migrant children, and the government is launching a review of the conditions at shelters. Meanwhile, First Lady Melania Trump is heading back to the southern border today to meet with migrants currently being housed at these immigration centers. Wednesday, the House rejected the GOP's compromise immigration measure, falling short by 218 votes needed to pass, despite a last-minute push from President Trump. Opponents of the compromise bill saying it wasn't a compromise at all.
This is not about our families or injustice. This is about him getting $25 billion for a wall and another $7 billion to hold families in detention facilities.
The president talked about the ongoing immigration battle last night during a visit to Fargo.
Republicans want strong borders and no crime. Very simple, not complex. Democrats want open borders, and crime happens automatically when you have those open borders.
And Speaker Paul Ryan said they would like to pursue a narrow bill to address the family separation issue, hoping to take action before the 4th of July holiday. If Congress is unable to find a solution to the growing crisis, it's likely public pressure will continue to build.